Here they both connected with the church spiritually. And I know in my spirit within that they go through some things, but you'll never know it because of the connection that they have with Christ. That makes a difference.
Which will bring me to Robin. Now I know because I know Robin. I know that Robin is going through some things, but you would never know it because she's constantly moving, and that's what you've done. With anything that you got, we were discussing some issues in the back, and she was saying that I just have to keep busy. I just have to keep busy. So we all do. We all do. For myself, if I wasn't connected with the church, the issues that I have would be very difficult for me to, very difficult for me to deal with. So the one thing that I did here, and then Robin, I need for you to let us know how you deal with it, how you deal with just issues. Period. The one thing that I'm hearing is that you have to talk about it. Yes. You have to let somebody know.
Right.
Don't hold it in. That leads to our suicides. And when we're looking at our youngsters that are 15 and 16 years old, when we see signs, we need to approach those signs. We need to talk to them. We need to let them know that they can talk, because it sounds like from what the man of God is saying and what you were saying, Patrick, is that don't hold it in.
That's right.
Tell somebody about it. I look to God for mine. I can go in my secret closet and I can talk to him, and I can come out okay. Because when I go into my secret closet and talk, then I can come and talk to somebody else. Because now I've admitted to him that I've got this issue.
That's
now
right.
give me the strength to go out and tell somebody about it. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to talk about it. And that's what we don't do. Hence our theme. Who can break the silence? We can.
Right.
By talking about it.
Yes.
Robin, I know you told me that you, some things that you've gone through and how you work.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Shirley, I've been through a lot. You can look at me and you can say, oh, she's fine. No, that's not true. I'm not fine. Mm-hmm. And when I went through my hands, I have a blockage in my heart. I have diabetes type 1 that ramps and rages, and as soon as I get one end down, the other end break. It's like a car. You fix the transmission, then the radiator breaks. Mm-hmm. But when I do, first I go to God and I ask God, I say, God, show me which way to go. Mm-hmm. When this first happened to me, I knew that I was going to take a blunt from my community and my people, and the people that I trust the most broke my secrets. So I went into the closet and I said, God, now I need you to just give me an inkling of a clue what to do. Mm-hmm. God said, you go seek you some help. I went to my psychiatrist and a psychologist. Even my mother was not feeling me. I don't know how she dealt with 5 dead children. There's no way in the world that I could sit at a funeral and never cry, because it's tearing her up in the inside. Mm-hmm. She's torn up because she's not speaking out, and she'll say, well, you do too much crying. See, all my life she'd say, oh, Robin, you just cry so much. You know why? Because right then and there, but you got to remember, we didn't have the education that we have now. No. Pick up on your children when they're doing some things. I was so emotional because I was dealing with something right then and there. Mm-hmm. But no one picked up. Oh, you carry your feelings in your hand. Don't tell your children that. Watch your children. Mm-hmm. When your children get quiet, you better start watching. Right. There's something wrong. Yeah. When you don't allow them, shut the door and go in the room. Oh, he's in his room, she's in her room. Unlock that door. Mm-hmm. Say, look, what we need to talk about today. What happened at school? Open up to me, because silence is deaf. Right. Patrick can agree with me. Mm-hmm. Silence is deaf. When you're quiet, your children aren't saying nothing, they all secluded, you pick them up from school, head down, you ask them, son, daughter, did you have a great day? Take some time to go in that room and talk to those children. Just talk to them and say, can we talk? I don't want to be in your business, but how are things going? Are you happy? Because see, when I was growing up, it was so different. And I was so afraid of this teacher in the first grade. She was so mean I would sit there and my nose would just bleed. That was fear. Mm-hmm. And well, you get up and go in the bathroom and you clean it. you can be so cruel and so brutal till you drive some people to commit suicide.
Oh yeah, and that's what's happening with our children.
Yeah.
Our
Yes.
children in school
Yeah.
with the bullying. Yes, Patrick.
Very important with the children, early intervention. I know
Early.
you talked about
Early.
it briefly, but let me
Early.
go into more. I wish that I had been diagnosed as a young, as
Yes.
a teenager, forget in my 30s. But we are now realizing that first grade experiences,
Yes.
when children are very vulnerable and they are like you can mold them and so susceptible. If you don't think it's just Johnny being Johnny, find out, look, see, ask if we can early intervention. It is quite possible that there will not be a lifelong, such as me, with medications and with having to do a regimen of stuff. Early intervention, save lives, talk up. Silence is a killer.
It is. It really is. And Pastor talks about that a lot. He talks to his youth so much. He's so youth oriented, at our church, and he talks to them so much. And when I look. I don't have any children, but I look at all of those parents out there, and I look at all the kids that we have in our church, and I say they all are mine, because you worry about them.
Yes,
You
you
worry about the kid that says nobody likes me, or
That's right.
you worry
That's
about
it.
the kid that says they're always talking about me, or they're calling me ugly, or you worry about that child, and you try to find some intervention. Now, with Pastor, he goes to the schools. It's nothing for him to go to a school and find out about one of his members' children, and that's what we have to do. We have to speak up, and we have to not say that, no, it's not my family, no, that doesn't touch me, I don't want. You have to speak up, because in my family, just mine alone, I know that it's there. And we have to talk about it, and we have to do something about it. And when we break the silence, like you're saying, we can actually do something. We can do something about it.
And Sister King and Patrick and Robin, I'm glad you said about young kids, vulnerable. At our church, I'm very observant. Now, with pastors, they think we have all answers, have all the solutions. But I've learned something, and that is I deal with problems through prayer. I've got issues, but I don't have bad days. Because through prayer, it keeps me from having a bad day. A bad day is when I'm talking to a parent tells me her child is contemplating suicide, and you try to reach this youngster, and the more you talk, it seems like they drift the further they get away, even though they're listening. And sometimes we have to really know how to deal with them, because I can see some young people in our church especially that slips off into depression. And sometimes the parent have a way of brushing them off. And that's one of the problems I think we have in society today, is that parents sometimes don't listen to their children.
That's
The
right.
first thing they tell them, well, why are you depressed? You're not paying any bills. You're not buying groceries. All you got to do is sleep and eat. So what would you have to be depressed about? So we have to understand. You just said that at young, they got so many things thrown at them. Well, they become overwhelmed. And so I think at an early age, there has to be some intervention. A parent has to be more aware and be more aware of the fact that even though this is my child, even though it's a young child, they have problems too, peer pressure.
Exactly.
And in the schools now, one of the problems they're dealing with is bullying.
Yes.
And that would cause a kid. Now you take a kid that sleeps late and having a problem at school, being bullied. You say, well, you lazy, you don't want to go to school. I don't want to go face all that stuff at school.
That's right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Because you don't know mama
Exactly.
and daddy, and I'm dealing with depression because of this bullying.
That's
So
right.
they don't want to go to school, so they say, get them out of the bed, you're just late. So we got to learn how to be more patient with our kids. Got to listen to them when they come to us with
Amen.
problems.
That's right.
Not so easy to brush them off. Of course that they're not, because we are parents. Parents are made for two things, provisions and protection. So that's our job, to look at our kids, observe our kids, and say something is wrong. Come, let's talk about this thing.
That's
You ought to
right.
have the kind of relationship with your children that they can talk to you about anything. I'd rather for them to get it at my house,
Yes.
than to get it from somebody else's house.
That's
And-
right.
Because they're brutal sometimes.
And it is important to understand that parents may not know all the answers.
Right.
And it is perfectly okay. If a parent doesn't have the answer, that they can get to a doctor or someone to help.
Right.
It is, someone says it does take a village,
It does.
and it really does nowadays. So.
Patrick,
Yes.
before we go, I want you, I understand that you are executive director of the Walk, and that is the Walk for Mental Health Awareness.
Yeah.
And you've got an event coming up. Why don't you tell our audience about your event that's coming up?
Thank you. Yes, we have our inaugural walk. We are called the Houston Walk for Mental Health Awareness. This will be a 5K walk, October the 15th, starting at approximately 8:30 a.m., and we will be at Studi Park, which is just on the banks of White Oak Bayou. We do have a website. If you would like more information, and I do encourage you to go there, the website is www.thehoustonwalk.org. This is a walk with a mission where we'll be fundraising for various nonprofit mental health agencies within the city. We will have a mental health expo. For those who are not able to walk, there will be a mental health expo, and especially during post-walk. We are patterned after the walk out of St. Louis when I participated in the walk to Washington, D.C. last October. So all of this has come about within almost a year. When we step off, it'll be about a year from when everything got started. We are the first chapter outside of St. Louis to be recognized in this capacity, and Steve Curran, who is the founder and the director of this, hopes to have this mental health walk nationwide, so that there will be more dialogue, there will be more discussion about mental health. Walkers will get pledges similar to if you were doing the Houston Marathon. When you go to our website and register, which you cannot do at this time, but you can go to our website and request to be notified
When it's time to
when it's
register.
time. But when you can register, a list will drop down with various 501 mental health agencies within Harris County who can receive their funds. We will keep, let me tell you right now, we will keep 10% of all funds, 90% of every funds that the walker goes, we will deliver with a check to those agencies. Thank you for asking.
Oh, yes, thank you.
so much.
Also, before we go, we want you to know that as you watch these shows, if you would like any information about these shows, please call us at 713-731-7050. We can get, if there's something that's been said or done that you want more information about, that is the number which is on the screen, 713-731-7050, that you can call and get this information. And remember, this whole month, we're going to be talking about mental health awareness. On next week, we're going to have the National Alliance of Mental Health here with us. And we're going to have some good information that's going to help our community. I want to thank Mr. Patrick for being here with us today. I want to thank Robin always for being here, and of course, Pastor, thank you for allowing us to have this show. We're hoping that this month is going to be a good month for us, and we're hoping that we're going to be able to help a lot of people out there, because mental health is in all of our families. And who has the key to unlock? We do.
We do.
We do.